Another Tuesday night, another quiet hum of the engine. The city lights were blurring into streaks of gold and ruby, painting a familiar path home. My shoulders ached, my mind was a tangled mess of to-do lists, but there was a quiet anticipation blooming in my chest. That sacred moment when you walk through your door, kick off your shoes, and the day finally exhales. It's the simple promise of sanctuary, isn't it? A place where the world outside fades, where you're safe. I craved it, yearned for it, like a parched traveler dreams of water. But then the static, a jarring tear in the fabric of my ordinary evening, and a voice. A voice that stopped my heart. Because that voice, it was mine, and it was screaming a warning from a future I couldn't comprehend. The radio was a low comfort, just a background hum, playing an old, forgotten pop song. I remember the way the streetlights cast long, dancing shadows through the car. I was tired, bone-deep exhausted, the kind of tired that settles into your soul. All I wanted was my worn armchair, a cup of chamomile tea, and the gentle, familiar creak of my floorboards. I thought about the small, imperfect things that made my house a home. The crooked painting in the hallway, the scent of old books, the way the moonlight always fell just right through my bedroom window. It was more than just a building. It was the quiet anchor in my chaotic life. A small, precious island of stability I was sailing towards, utterly unaware that a storm was brewing, not outside, but inside the very static of the radio. The song faded, swallowed by a sudden, harsh burst of static. I instinctively reached for the dial, a small annoyance tugging at my patience. But before I could turn it, a voice cut through the white noise. Clear, urgent, trembling with a fear I instantly recognized. It wasn't a trick of the light or a strange echo from the past. It was undeniably me. My cadence, my particular lilt when I'm under pressure, the slight catch of my breath. My hands froze on the steering wheel, the world outside my car blurring into an insignificant background. My own voice, amplified and impossibly broadcast, whispered a chilling warning. Ilara, don't go home tonight. Please, you have to listen. Your life depends on it. My heart hammered against my ribs, a trapped bird desperate to escape. This couldn't be happening. My foot slammed on the brake, the car lurching violently to the side of the deserted road. My breath hitched, coming in ragged gasps. Every fiber of my being screamed for logic, for reason. It had to be a prank, a radio anomaly. My mind playing tricks after a long, stressful day. But the voice, it felt too real, too raw to me. I pressed my hands against my temples, squeezing my eyes shut, trying to make the impossible fade. But the words echoed, a terrifying mantra. Don't go home tonight. Your life depends on it. What did that even mean? Was there a fire? A break-in? Or something far, far worse? The image of my cozy, safe home twisted into something sinister, a dark maw waiting to swallow me whole. The comfort I craved minutes ago was now a source of inexplicable terror. I was trapped between an impossible truth and an undeniable fear. I couldn't go home. The thought was a searing brand in my mind. The logical part of me screamed about my routine, my responsibilities, the simple, sane act of returning to my own bed. But the primal instinct, the one that heard my own voice begging for my life, was far stronger. It wasn't a question of believing in time travel. It was a question of trusting myself, a future self I didn't know, but who knew me intimately enough to warn me. The weight of that choice settled on me, heavy and suffocating. Where would I go? What about my cat? My dinner? My life? All the anchors I knew were suddenly severed. I felt like an astronaut, untethered, floating in a vast, terrifying silence. Every instinct pulled me towards the familiar, but a terrifying echo screamed to flee into the unknown. This wasn't just a decision. It was a surrender to the impossible. Slowly, painstakingly, I turned the car around, away from the direction of home. Each click of the indicator, each turn of the wheel felt monumental. It was like I was severing a part of myself, cutting ties with the life I knew, the comfort I'd sought. A profound loneliness settled over me, heavier than any fatigue. I was alone, making a life-altering decision, based on a broadcast from a future me. The why still hung in the air, a chilling, unanswered question. What horrors awaited me if I had gone home? I didn't want to know. I just drove, aiming for anywhere but there, anywhere but the place that had once promised sanctuary. My heart ached, a deep, hollow pain, but beneath it, a tiny, fragile spark of something else, survival. A raw, primal understanding that I had listened. And that, maybe, just maybe, was enough. I never went home that night, or the night after. The radio broadcast remained a terrifying, impossible secret, a whisper from a future I'd somehow avoided. My life, the one I'd painstakingly built, splintered into a million pieces, forcing me onto an unknown path. I lost a home, but I gained something else, a harrowing understanding of fate, choice, and the fragile thread that connects us to tomorrow. Sometimes the most profound warnings come not from a stranger, but from the deepest, most desperate part of ourselves. And sometimes listening to the impossible is the only way to truly survive. The why still haunts me, but that's why it lives in every breath I take.